This is game 3 here between Charles Estomba and Aaron Barich. 3 poison on Charles' Jeskai's side. He's casting an Electrolyze. We see on Aaron's side he's got a lot going on. We have Become Immense, we have Spellskite. I'm not sure if he's killing him with damage or with poison.
Looks like there's a Dryad Arbor that's doing some attacking.
We're Mutagenic Growthing a Dryad Arbor.
I think there's a Pendelhaven activation as well.
A lot of things.
You want to ask the question, who's slowing this match down? It's not Barich.
Logic Knot from Charles. Looks like we are fighting over Mutagenic Growth.
Looks like Barich with 6 other mana available.
Uh-oh.
So big delta.
Crack and a fetch land. Are we looking at a Become Immense?
That's the 5th card in the graveyard.
He puts the land into play tapped, so maybe it's just Groundswell.
It's not bad.
And that is what it'll be, Groundswell to protect. So I think we have an attack, we have a Pendelhaven activation, we have an Electrolyze in response. Yep. So tried to kill Electrolyze in response to Pendelhaven. Mutagenic Growth in response to Electrolyze. Logic Knot on the Mutagenic Growth, and now Groundswell targeting the Dryad Arbor again.
And it has to be a counterspell for Charles, because anything like a Lightning Bolt or a Path to Exile just gets redirected to the Spellskite.
Because if it is Pendelhaven, Groundswell, and Dryad Arbor, that is 6 damage.
Yeah.
Make that 7 with the Noble Hierarch.
This is definitely a lethal attack. Something like Negate is what he's going to need here.
2 damage on the Dryad Arbor, and Aaron shrugs. So he draws off Electrolyze still. Lightning Helix at the Spellskite. Okay.
That gains some life.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the Spellskite ate one of the redirects.
Part of the Electrolyze.
It ate part of the Electrolyze, so it will die. Charles will go up to 9, and this attack will confirm, I believe, is for 7. It looks like maybe less. Charles at 4.
Plenty of lands in hand for Charles, though.
Yeah, Serum Visions is the play. Teferi and Logic Knot on top. Looks like he'll keep the Teferi, says no to the Logic Knot.
Teferi's a redraw. He has to be somewhat concerned about these Ink Moth Nexuses.
Sure. Yeah, 2 Ink Moth in play. Which way does Aaron want to go? He can't...
It's a little tough to attack the Arbor into Celestial Colonnade. It kind of depends what he has for removal spells on top of that.
Yeah. He'll activate an Ink Moth Nexus. And it looks like just Nexus is going to attack. He'll Pendelhaven it to a 2-3 and Exalt it to a 3-4. So I think what he wants to have happen here is if the Colonnade blocks, he'll give up the Ink Moth, but then it'll be a 1-1 Colonnade in the future.
Right, and that's the difference with attacking with those 2 creatures.
Yeah, and this is Charles's only Colonnade. So it can make the block. It shrinks. And then next time he tries to make that block, Aaron will be at the ready.
Yeah, it's not clear that Aaron even had a pump spell here. So I don't even know if that attack was potentially lethal, but the Dryad Arbor is very easy to make lethal.
Charles draws the Teferi he scryed to the top. And a bit of a check on his side. He has some fetch lands. I don't know that he wants to do one, but he does. He'll go down to 3.
And now the Dryad Arbor with Pendelhaven and Noble Hierarch, that is lethal. So the Teferi is going to have to do something.
Yeah, he has to have a good reason to make this fetch, right?
Right.
We'll see just what that reason is.
He'll have to plus the Teferi if he wants to activate Colonnade here.
Correction, Charles actually, we had his life total wrong. He was at 3 and fetched to 2, so it was lethal both ways. He will draw.
Ooh.
What did we hit?
I want to say that's Settle the Wreckage.
And untapping 2 lands seems pretty nice with Settle the Wreckage. Here we go, back over to Aaron's side.
So it's on his face, he's demonstrating that he can activate Celestial Colonnade. And depending on what attacks, he could also just exile it with Settle.
And here's Dryad Arbor. It'll be pumped by Pendelhaven. And Charles will make the block, the chump block appears with Colonnade. Doesn't want to use Settle the Wreckage just yet, and I like that.
Yeah, definitely seems reasonable to save that spell when you have that Colonnade that's just going to chump block something inevitably.
Draw from Teferi. And it looks like turn 0 will be hit here on Charles's turn.
I wonder how many lifetime draws Aaron Barich has. I bet he can count them on one hand.
We'll see if he can get this one. It seems unlikely that Charles can win this in turns.
Right. So there's kind of the question of, has he drawn the correct spells to buy him enough time?
Right. Settle the Wreckage, we know. The Colonnade's gone. I think his other cards are lands and another Teferi. So some work to be done.
I believe that is what I see.
If you know you're not playing for the win here anymore, does it make sense for Charles to jam that second Teferi, draw another card?
So the Teferi's not getting attacked, so yeah, you'll be able to still leave up the settle, so I do like that.
And that's what he'll do.
And given the sort of counter spells that are available in Barich's sideboard, Teferi should resolve here.
Right. Yeah, not much spell piercing out of Aaron's sideboard, if any.
There's 2 in the main deck. I spotted an Invocation in his hand, and I think that's what that is.
Okay, so he's debating the spell pierce here. I actually have a bingo square for an Invocation. I kind of hope he has one. Teferi will draw. He will have 2 untapped sets of untapped triggers as he's used 2 different Teferis. Charles is going to suspend an Ancestral Vision. Now, Ryan, we're in extra turns, so I don't really think that makes much sense here.
Yeah, that's not going to come off. It adds to your argument at the end of turns of, will you concede to me?
Yeah, all right.
I have an Ancestral Vision on suspend.
That is what it does.
Yeah.
Untap of 4 lands. Back over to Aaron. This is turn number 1.
If Aaron has both of his spell pierces, though, Charles only has 3 mana up.
Yes, yeah, he has 7 mana total, so it doesn't work. You're right. Let's see if he does.
I believe it's just the 1.
It's interesting that the Dryad Arbor is Aaron's most valuable threat here. If the Dryad Arbor gets answered, this Blighted Agent isn't as threatening. Charles can still actually take some hits off it.
Yeah, it's not clear that Barich has the pump spells that he can make an Infect attacker actually lethal.
What Aaron is wondering is what I think here is whether he wants to swing with the Ink Moth and the Dryad Arbor.
Yeah, seeing as the Arbor is already lethal, do you want to add a second creature? And he's respecting Settle the Wreckage here.
I guess Noble Hierarch is a source of regular damage, so he'll attack with Dryad Arbor. Noble Hierarch Exalted trigger on the stack, he will Pendlehaven. This is an attack for 3. This should force action. And it does. Settle the Wreckage. Dryad Arbor's gone, but remember, Noble Hierarch can attack for 1.
Yes. Can't do that in conjunction with Inkmoth Nexus, but it can attack for 1.
Blighted Agent. Now, if you're on Charles' side, do you draw with Teferi or do you tuck away the Noble Hierarch? It's a real question as he goes to turn 2.
If you have nothing going on, I think you have to -3.
Well, that's not nothing. That was Snapcaster Mage, and he's going to plus.
That is a good draw.
That is nothing at all. That is definitely not a nothing.
Drew a fetch land. That is nothing. He's at 1.
Yeah, I don't like that one so much. He'll pass. I think he has Lightning Bolt and Snapcaster were the 2 cards he picked up this turn.
Okay, some really good tools available.
Yeah. It's looking like the kind of game that an untimed play is going to favor Charles, but that is not what we're doing here. A swing and a Pendlehaven. And is Charles going to respond? No. I can take 3 poison.
Barich does have a Vines of Vastwood.
Okay.
So that would make the attack lethal.
Yeah. Kicked Vines. Go for the kill.
Going for Groundswell, looks like. He
Groundswell?
fetched a land there. So he has Vines back up in case of something like Path to Exile.
The nice thing is that Settle the Wreckage off the Snapcaster Mage doesn't care about any of this kind of stuff.
Right.
And Charles wisely picks the right card there. Didn't go for anything like Path to Exile. Would have lost.
Yeah. You'd need a Siren Storm Tamer for this one.
And back to Charles we go. Turn 4. This is his last turn. And he'll draw.
Yeah. Charles won't be able to finish this game.
Now we'll see if Aaron can. Last turn. A lot of mana to combo into. Can Aaron put it together? Activates Inkmoth Nexus. Actually using Pendelhaven. Oh, Legend rolls the Pendelhaven away.
Fancy.
And attack in for make that 3 poison right now. Aaron just has Vines.
Yeah, I think he has Spell Pierce back up. That one's not good for anything here.
Yeah, no, I mean, he can fruitless. Yeah, you see the look at the message like, you got a thing, right? Yes, I'll dispel your thing. Aaron will Spell Pierce it and give me the bingo square. That's awesome. And that looks like it's going to be a draw.
Charles wisely pays 2 for his Spell Pierce. And, yep.
Yeah, and in the 3-0 bracket, especially with the attendance we have here, I have to imagine